United stand here at UC San Diego. Ten Hag's press conference has just finished ahead of both the Wrexham game and the Houston game where we're playing Real Madrid. Here is what he has had to say.
The United Stand pre-season tour sponsored by Manscaped. Discover the power of 3 with Manscaped's unique trimmers. Get the right tools for the job at manscaped.com. Manscaped, your body will thank you.
Hi everyone, so thank you. This is a joint press conference for our forthcoming games against both Wrexham and Real Madrid. Please raise your hands if you have a question and wait to be invited. We're joined online by some reporters from Houston who can't be here, focused on the Real Madrid game. Towards the end of the press conference, we'll invite questions online. So, let's get started. Simon Stone.
Simon. Could you tell us, first of all, how Amad Diallo is, please?
It's not too bad. Today he was running again, not involving in the group, but we hope he can join tomorrow in the training.
I know we asked you about Avram Glazer on Friday, but he was obviously at the game on Saturday. Have you spoken to him? What kind of conversations have you had with him?
Afterwards, I didn't speak anymore with him after the game.
Erik, can I just ask, these tours, obviously it's a lot of games and a lot of travelling. How do you find that preparation? Is it too much? Would it be easier just to stay in Manchester? Because we know Man United's a global ground, so you have to travel around. But how do you find it?
It's about finding a good balance. And football is 1, 2, 3. And so football is making the schedule is ahead of everything else. But also you have to know what you say. We are a global brand. We have to sell the club. We want also come towards our fans, and our fans are all over the world. So we want to show ourselves there. And I think also for ourselves is a fantastic experience. And you are 2 weeks on the way, and I think it's a big advantage that you are 2 weeks with your team, the players, to build really the team spirit. Also with the staff, the cooperation in between the staff towards the players. So it's a great opportunity to strengthen that, and that's what we're working on. So I think it's really useful.
So you find that being away together rather than being at home when people would be in there,
that's
a better thing?
Better or worse. I think there are more ways to rule, but I think this is a good one.
Simon.
Erik, just wondering what kind of side you're going to be putting out tomorrow, what kind of players we'll see, and also have you watched the Wrexham documentary?
I didn't watch the Wrexham documentary, but I know them. We played them last year. I know they got promoted. I've seen the actuality and the way they play this moment. I know the players, and we will face them. We brought the under-21s in, but we will strengthen the under-21s with some players who are in the tour with the first squad.
And you were asked about an attacker the other day. There's been a lot of talk since then. I just wondering if you've made any progress in getting that striker that you need over the line.
We make progress, yeah. But if you know how it works, when we have him, we will tell you directly.
Andy.
Jadon Sancho has been playing as a false 9. Is that something you're looking at maybe in the future? And how do you think he's been performing pre-season?
He's doing well, also in that role. I think Jadon is the best in positions, in central positions where you can have involvement. Also, when he played in wide areas, but when you're playing with me in wide areas in the right setting, you also have the freedom in the right setting. So get me right to be inside in 10 positions, in central positions, but also when you are in such positions, you have to make runs behind because that's very important, our way of play, that we have many players who run behind.
One over there.
When it comes to traveling, you play here in San Diego and then you have to travel to Houston on Wednesday against Real Madrid. Is that going to be tough? And also to follow up, Andre Onana's great signing for Manchester United. Are you excited to work with him again?
Yeah, it's tough, but it's also the Premier League. You have to travel. We go Champions League. You have to travel. So also that is what we have to get used to. So yeah, we do that. It's no problem, and we program that really well. So the preparation is top, and then the players are fit to play the game. And with Andre, of course, I'm happy he's here, and so we integrated really well in the team. So yeah, it's fantastic. He's there, and yeah, everyone is really happy in the club.
Scott.
Hi Erik, just two quick ones from me. Can I just get confirmation on where we stand with Anthony Elanga and Dean Henderson, please?
Plays in our squad, and again, when we have news, we will tell you.
I don't know if you see, PSG have been offered 300 million euros for Kylian Mbappe, which they're going to accept. There's talk that if he rejects that PSG would be open to a loan offer. Would that be someone you'd consider, or is that completely out of the question? And also your view on such a huge fee.
We never speak about players who are under contract in other clubs.
Okay, cheers.
Samuel.
You said you didn't speak anymore to Avram. Would you like to speak to him anymore? And have you spoken to Joel Glazer at all recently?
No.
And would you like to?
Or when I want to, I can reach them.
It's you can just speak to them instantly.
Yeah.
And just on the strike situation, are you confident of having a new attacker or striker in for the first game of the season against Wolves?
The only thing what I can say is we do everything what's in our power to get that done. And it's up to me, as soon as possible. How earlier, the better, because we have to integrate them in the team, in the way of play. So, in an ideal situation, he was already here, but you're not always getting ideal situations as manager, and that is, then you have to deal with the situation.
Dave.
Hi Erik, just following up on that question. Marcus Rashford scored 30 goals last season, a huge leap from the previous season. How confident are you that he can reproduce those figures next season and be up to 25 plus 30 goals that season again?
Well, when his attitude is right, then he will do that. It's not easy, and the team has to play well to put him in the right position. And when the team is playing well, so when when we keep the rules and principles in our way of play, and Rashford's attitude is right, and he puts himself in the right position, he will finish because he has such great abilities. When he's in the box, he's clinical, and he's ruthless, and he scores goals, and does with right, with left, with his head.
And do you need more goals from other players? The lowest scorers in the league in the top 6 last season with 58 goals. Do you need more goals from the rest of the team rather than relying on Marcus, for example?
No, as well, yeah. But so we're underperforming there, and we are aware of it, and so others also has to contribute in that area, but therefore also we're looking for scoring abilities, and I think with Mason Mount already, we have a player extra who is capable of not only score goals but also to create and to put players as Rashford in the position so he can score more goals. But as a whole team, we have to score more.
How do you like San Diego so far since you guys getting acclimated to being here, and how excited are you to play at Snapdragon Stadium?
I'm really excited, but unfortunately I didn't see anything till so far as except from the air, from the play, San Diego. So I'm looking forward to. I hope there's some time to see something.
Erik, Anthony Martial is an obvious option for you as one of your forwards. Can you give us an update on him and when he's going to be starting training again? And is it a frustration? You obviously started with him last pre-season as one of your main striker. Is it frustrating that you may have to change how you approach with Martial this season, with him not being able to finish 90 minutes? Is that a frustration for you because you cannot use him properly?
Today he was in the team training, so that is really hopeful. And of course, when you have a player in a squad, you expect that he's available, and then the players have to take the responsibility to be available. But when he's not, I have to deal with the situation, and we show that we also then can be successful without that striker. But of course, it's more easy when you have the striker in your team, because I think every club who wins big trophies has scoring abilities in that team.
There's been no approaches for Martial at all from any other clubs. Is he set as part of your plan for this season?
We need a good squad, and Anthony Martial is a brilliant football player, and so he will help us. He scores goals, and also in other areas of football like pressing, in possession, combinations. He's a great player, and let's hope he will be fit and he stays fit.
Rob.
Hi, Erik. Okay, sorry. You just mentioned the squad there. You can have 4 competitions to play again next season. Is it a case that if you get one more player, you'll be happy with the size of your squad, or would you like to see more change between now and the deadline?
Let's first, one by one, we strengthen the midfield department. We have the keeper situation. We sort that out now. We want the front player in, and then we will see what happens.
You feel like you've got enough players to cover, because you played an awful lot of games last season, and there were spells where you perhaps didn't have the options you wanted.
Yeah, from quantity, I'm sure then we have enough players to cover it, and so I'm also happy with the development of some academy players, and also we need positions free, that they have the opportunity to deserve their position.
One at the back.
With all respect to Wrexham, what can you realistically hope to gain by playing a team of their caliber?
For us it's a very good game, because, as I just mentioned, the academy players. So it's a great experience for them, and it will help them, and it will support them to flow into the first team. And so in that respect, it's a huge game. So really good opposition. It's in the USA, so they have to travel it. It's very good for their education. So they have to deal with the pressure. The stadium is sold out, with a fantastic ambience. The players are really looking forward to it. The game is broadcasted, so it's fantastic experience for the young players, and that we can present this to our young players. So I'm really happy that we can do that, and so great opportunity.
Playing in San Diego tomorrow and Houston on Wednesday, do you enjoy the travel and getting global exposure to your sport, or is it more of a pain in the neck?
Probably said
Neck. Yeah. No, I tried to express the first question. Or was it the second? I think it's very helpful when you travel together for 2 weeks. Deal with the juniors. You get fatigue from it, but in the Premier League and in the Champions League you have the same. And what we have to do is the fans expect performance, and so we have to deliver. So we have to be fit for that. So the players have to live along the right rules to get it in. So after the right lifestyle, it's about food, about sleep. Do the right things in training, make sure you do the right things in recovery, and make sure you have the right team spirit. And then it's a very good experience, and it's really helpful to get the right spirit in a team. So I think very good for going into the season to work on this team building process.
Paul.
Erik, Johnny Evans has been around the squad for a short time now. What impression has he made on
particularly on the younger players, and what are the chances of him getting a longer term deal at United?
I think he helped us. As you said, younger players, but also from numbers here. Not all the internationals were in, and then we have to manage the load from the players. So that was really useful. And Johnny wants to stay fit. He wants to he has a career. Last week, I think he played a very good game against Lyon, and you could see how he was mentoring the younger players, and I think he was pushing the younger players to a higher level, and that can be really helpful. So I'm happy we bring him now in. He will be tomorrow in that game, so I'm happy he wants to do that, and I think we help him as well.
Over there.
Obviously, with Bruno Fernandes now coming back with the captaincy, what are the added expectations of such a top player, knowing his qualities, and what are the expectations for that midfield overall? Obviously, adding Mason Mount as well.
Captain is not only wearing the band, but also make sure that team keep connected, that we have the right spirit, that we have the right winning attitude. So you need to be inspirational skills. You need to have the authority. Also, you need game understanding to transfer the rules and the principles from the manager into the team. So also your communication. So you need a lot of skills. But also a captain can't do it on his own. And last week I explained how I see a team, and you need more leaders. And luckily, in this squad we have more leaders who not only they will support, but they will also play their role and to send the team in the right direction.
Last one in the room here. Yeah.
You talked about the travel. Could you explain a little bit more about the logistics of how you will move different teams? Will your first unit go to Houston tomorrow? When will you go? Will this team that plays against Wrexham stay here? How does that all work when you have two games in 24 hours?
Yeah, so we're planning this over months, and so we know already for a long time how it has to look like. So we're planning this. So we bring the under 21s in. So one team will stay here behind. I will stay here as well, but also we bring coach and the technical director Darren Fletcher in. We bring some more in, also an analyst. We bring in some kitmen stay behind to help the team from under 21s. But of course it's Travis. He's the one who is in charge in the team, and I will help him and support him. And of course, under 21s is also a part of the first squad. That's always under my supervision. So in that matter, we want to have a red line in our club, and that means we want to have the principles, rules from the first team has to go down to the bottom. How we want to play, because we want to educate, to teach players in the way of a united way, and so it's easier to flow into the first team in the first squad, and that is why this trip is very useful for us. So, and there will be also a team who will fly out tomorrow afternoon already to Houston and prepare that game against Real Madrid.
So you will not go to Houston?
Of course I go, but I go after this game is finished. I fly over as well.
At night.
Okay, we'll now turn to online questions from reporters in Houston.
Recording in progress.
Okay, we'll go first question for Erik Estrategas.
I'm Erik Estrategas from Estrategas, Mexico. What is behind the decision that you made to make a change of captain, and why Bruno Fernandes?
I just explained, but I will repeat it. That why Bruno? That he's an inspirational leader, a lot of game understanding, high standing in the team. He's a social connector, so that's why.
You guys, Ben Sasenko next.
Thank you so much, Coach. Tell me your impressions of Houston. Have you ever been? What are you expecting? And what does it mean for a city to have two clubs like Manchester United and Real Madrid playing there against each other? Thank you so much.
I've never been there in Houston. I know only Houston from Westerns. But I think a lot have changed there. So I don't know. I'm really curious to find out. And we're coming there to play a game. I think it's a game between two probably the biggest clubs in Europe. I think they have the biggest fan bases across the world. So it's an amazing game to have that Houston has our two clubs in an event. And I think it will be amazing experience. I think for all the fans there in Houston, and we want to give ourselves our best, and I'm sure Real Madrid will do the same. So it's going to be a great game, and we are looking forward. And for us, it's a very good test.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
One final one from Jason Bristol.
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay, all right, thanks everyone.
Okay, thank you very much indeed.
Okay, there's been plenty of questions asked to Ten Hag, some pointless ones. I'm not going to say who they were from, but yeah, plenty of people asking if he likes San Diego, if he likes Houston, if he likes New York, how does he like getting around, is he like a plane, is he like a coach? But yeah, he got through all of them with a smile and a grin, but the nitty-gritty questions, the ones that we wanted to know, he didn't really budge on. He was pretty much stone cold Ten Hag today. He wasn't giving anything away at all, wasn't giving anything away on anything transfer-wise. He was quizzed on by some of the media, some of the written press on Avram Glazer being there in the MetLife Stadium, and he's got no intention of talking to him again. He was asked if he wanted to talk to him again, maybe get some clarity on the takeover. He's not budging on any of that. He doesn't want to talk about anything transfer-wise. He doesn't want to talk about anyone, player transfer-wise at other clubs. Nothing on the ownership, like I said. But even the Mbappe question was put to him, and obviously a question like that to Ten Hag is just going to get batted off, and it was. He's no interest in that at all. He wants to talk about football, he wants to talk about progress. I did ask him about Martial again. That was like the whole one from that. We heard rumours that Martial was going to be back training very soon. He did confirm that Martial himself was in training today. He was doing light training again. So will we see him on tour? Will we see him in any action? If he's training for the first time today, then I would say probably not. I don't think he would risk him in any games. He has said that he has to sort of nurse Martial through this season now. That was another question that I did put to him in terms of how do you manage Martial through a season? He is an option as a number 9. Obviously, it's an area where we're very light, but last season we couldn't rely on Martial. His injury record is shocking, and he just isn't good enough to rely on through a season. I think we've all said that on many a shows through the season. I don't think he's finished the 90 minutes for 3 years now or something like that. And yeah, where he is an option for us there, and Ten Hag would like to play him. He talked about his qualities, what he brings to Manchester United. He just isn't reliable enough. That's why I asked the question in terms of how do you manage him. He wasn't budged on that either. He just isn't going into anything, and it is full on Ten Hag mode now. If you give him the option to do anything commercially, do any press conferences, anything like that, he would just say no and just get on that training ground. He's all about the players that are there, the youth players. He was talking about them as well. He just wants to train and coach his team and make them play the way that he wants them to play. We couldn't do that last season. So then that brought the questions of his signings that he has made. So from some of the US journalists regarding Onana, there was a lot of questions in the previous press conference before the game at the MetLife against Arsenal regarding Onana, because that was more relevant then. But again, he was asked about Onana and obviously Mason Mount. The Bruno questions came up about his captaincy. But again, he just keeps repeating himself. And that's what Ten Hag does. If you want to ask him a question, you've got to ask him the right question, otherwise you just get shut down. I mean, I kind of knew that I was going to get shut down with the Martial one, but I did want to know, I think everyone wants to know if he is going to be training and part. He has been here from the start on this tour, and if he was coming, there was obviously a chance he is going to feature, but one training session today, any minutes, like I said, I doubt it. I really do. I don't think he's going to risk it. Then Jadon Sancho, that was a key one. I was going to ask that. I think it was Andy Mitten who actually asked that question about Jadon Sancho's role this season. We've seen him at 10, we've seen him on the left, we've seen him on the right last season, and obviously against Arsenal, he was playing as a false 9. So that question came up, and it was like, is that a position where you're going to see Jadon Sancho? For me, I think with Jadon Sancho right now, I don't know where he wants to play him. he seems to be in all 4 positions that he's played in. He seems to be second choice at best in every single one of them positions. On the right, Anthony's going to play ahead of him. Obviously, Rashford on the left. Even if Rashford was the only striker, I think he'd play ahead of him as number 9. And then obviously number 10, well, you've got Mount, you've got Bruno, you've got up-team options there. Obviously, Eriksen can play there as well. So where does Jadon Sancho fit in? It's interesting because he was part of the Martial Rashford, and he was part of the Martial Rashford Sancho front three back last pre-season. It looked great, everything was working really well, and it looked like that's where he wanted to go. But I think he learned very fast last season with the likes of Sancho and Martial that they cannot be relied on. They cannot be, they're not fully committed in terms of what he thinks is availability, because Martial, he says he has to make himself available. And what that means, I think he's just questioning the player. I think he is just putting that challenge out there to the player, is to say, you make yourself available. Can you play through that little knock? Can you play through that slight injury? There are obviously players that will run through brick walls, and there could be players taking painkilling injections and everything just to get on that pitch. I think we get the vibe that Martial is definitely not of that calibre. And in terms of Jadon Sancho, again, as one of his options up front, I think, and I fear he's trying to find a place for him. I do. I like Jadon Sancho. I think he's shown qualities, and he was probably one of his better games that he played against Arsenal. But he played well last season and pre-season, and he started the season well and drifted off. Obviously, personal reasons and everything, he drifted out of the team and then struggled to come back in, and has been criticised heavily for that price tag. And now his third year, I think questions rightly need to be asked about him and where his role at the football club is. Obviously, not a Ten Hag signing, and Ten Hag has really played his signings, that the ones he made last summer, they've always been key starters, and Sancho was sort of in the wings. I mean, I didn't even mention Alejandro Garnacho as a player who I actually think now he's ahead of Jadon Sancho in the pecking order. If everyone is fit, where does Jadon Sancho fit in? Like I said, he's at best in all the 4 positions that he's played for this football club, he's second best in all 4 of them. Can we afford to carry that type of play off? I can't see Jadon Sancho leaving. At this stage now, I just don't see it. This far into the window, I think there are other players at the club that need to be offloaded. 2 of them are Anthony Elanga and Dean Henderson. We know that they're pretty close, both of them, going off reports. But yes, again, Ten Hag shut that down as a no-go question, no answers. They are Manchester United players, and sometimes you just feel with Ten Hag press conferences that you just can't even ask a question because you know, but you've got to ask it for the sake of asking it, really. He's going to shut anything down unless you're talking about player injuries, updates on players that are already here. And he talked about that enough. And I think the key thing from that press conference was the Jadon Sancho story in terms of where he fits in. Because I don't think he does. When everyone's fit, I don't think he is a first-team player for Ten Hag, or starting anyway. He's a bench player for him, and an expensive one at that. But this is a massive season for Jadon. I think Ten Hag is testing him in every position that he can, and I feel like he will, after this season, make a decision on him. I think he's going to get this third year, but Jadon Sancho has been challenged, in my opinion, by Ten Hag now, and he needs to come up trumps for him. Ten Hag give him the time. He give him his personal time. He sent him away. He made sure he was okay, and he's looked after him. He's nursed him through last season. Now Jadon Sancho has to produce the goods this season. So far this pre-season, good. But I keep asking the question, I want to ask you guys the same one. When everyone is fit in this squad, where would you play Jadon Sancho? And would he come above anyone else in all of them positions? And I say 9, 10, either side, either wing. Are there players that you would start ahead of Jadon Sancho? That's what our £80 million signing is. And I think Ten Hag has got an issue with him in where he plays him and who he drops for him. Jadon Sancho and his qualities can easily outshine anyone in that front line in any one of them positions. I would argue 9, possibly 10, but definitely, that's half of them gone, isn't it? But left side, right side, I think he can challenge anyone if he adapts and he goes at it in with the right attitude. I would say, go and claim that position. That's what you need to do right now. That's what you need to prove to the manager. Pretty much like Garnacho did when he came in. He took his chance, and now he's one of Ten Hag's main players. And he's one of them players that you would say gets people off their seats, like we thought we were getting with Jadon Sancho. He's been overtaken by an academy player right now. If anything, that should spur you on as a first-team player. full England international when he came to Manchester United. Now he cannot get into that England team. He's nowhere near the squad. He needs to do more when he plays. And like I said, so far this pre-season, it's been decent for him. Hopefully he carries on again when we play Real Madrid. But obviously the game ahead next is the under-21. And we've seen Hannibal training here with the under-21s. He's obviously been a big part of the first team squad. So you look at it and you go, well, definitely we're going to see Hannibal. He needs game time. Are there going to be any first team players mixed in? I think there was only one person who asked that question. It was more regarding Harry Maguire, whether he'll come in. I don't think so. I think Harry Maguire will definitely play in the Real Madrid game. But there are first team players there I think could actually play and contribute tomorrow night. Whether or not we'll use them, we don't know. He's talked about Travis Binion obviously taking on that game. He won't be dealing with that game. He'll help him out. But his main focus now is on the Real Madrid game in Houston. But obviously he will be at the stadium to watch the game and watch the under-21s play against Wrexham, and then he will go off straight away to Houston. And that pretty much sums up everything from the press conference. Stone cold Ten Hag, like I said, giving absolutely nothing away, as you'd expect at this point. And we've done the Amrabat video in terms of what actually is happening with that deal right now. I think when you're on pre-season, you're not going to get many answers from the manager in terms of transfers and what's going on. I think everything is going to happen once we get back off this tour. So really right now, that being the last press conference of this whole pre-season, I think we've got to accept that he just wants to get down, get his team ready for the start of the season. Hopefully we have that striker in, maybe a central midfielder. But in terms of getting answers from the man himself, we're not going to see that now until it's really close to kick-off and the start of the season. So, yeah, that's all there is to say from Ten Hag's press conference today. Not much to go on, but I think, obviously, our proof is in the pudding, the training and everything and what he's been working on with the new players. Onana was training again today. We'll see who starts against Real Madrid. But first of all, let's get behind the under-21s. Let's see how they perform against Wrexham tomorrow night. And hopefully we see, like Ten Hag says, that one player standing out and making a name for himself and making it impossible for Ten Hag to ignore him. That's what he wants from this. And like he said, it's a perfect opportunity for the under-21s tomorrow night. Guys, that's it. Cheers for watching. Let me know what you think of that press conference. Did it answer any of your questions? None of mine. But yeah, there you go. That's just Ten Hag for you. That's our manager. It's what matters on the pitch. Nothing else. Like, share and subscribe to the United Stand. Cheers for watching, everyone.